You're listening to Wild Things and Wild Places, a Muley Fanatic Foundation podcast that aims to discuss issues and efforts related to the Muley Fanatic Foundation mission, the conservation of mule deer, furthering the sport of hunting, and sound wildlife management.
Everybody knows I'm a Muley fanatic.
It's time for Wild Things and Wild Places. And here's your guide, Joshua Corsi.
Welcome to another episode of Wild Things in Wild Places. Joining me today, and this is a conversation. We've had some conversation associated with today's guest, but we actually haven't had today's guest, and I'm talking about Dr. Bryan Bedrosian. He is the not only co-founder of Sporting Lead Free, but also he's an avid hunter, a big game hunter. He's a raptor biologist, and as an advisory council member to Sporting Lead Free, I seen a video this past Tuesday that was being circulated asking us to help share the word, and I reached out to Bryan and said, would you be willing to be a guest on Wild Things and Wild Places? Because this video is nothing short of magnificent and remarkable, and I wanted to just be able to talk a little bit more about some of the other details associated with it. With that being said, welcome, Bryan, to the show.
Thanks for having me, Josh. I'm super excited to be here today and to chat about all this stuff.
You've been leading this field of conservation on lead-free hunting now for over 15 years. Tell me really a little bit of a story that we can share with others that may not have a lot of familiarity with Sporting Lead Free without seeing the video. Of course, we'll have a link to this video. We're going to share it as well because it's about the best, just under 13 minutes you could spend in watching something that will actually give you some information that you may or may not have had before, but certainly something that you'll want to share with others. But where's the starting point, if we go back just briefly to what really prompted you to go down this path?
Yeah, that is a great question, Josh. I really appreciate that. And the awareness around this film and really around this issue is at the core of all this. And when I think about how I got started on this, it's a long and windy road. Really, I started as a raptor biologist. I've been working in Wyoming for 23 years now, and I started my graduate work working on ravens up in northwestern Wyoming. And I was catching a bunch of birds for our studies and heard about maybe there's something with lead and ammunition and birds, and so I started testing them. And I don't want to get into that long story, but I did the science. I showed it was an issue for ravens. I showed it was an issue for eagles. I handed out free non-lead ammo to hunters on the park and refuge, and really showed it was effective at reducing the effects. But I did my job as a scientist, and I published the papers. I waved my hands. I said, hey, this is not an issue for me. This is an issue for game and fish. I did the science. But after seeing things go sideways in this conversation and people using the data I collected in California for bans and to really steer the conversation as an anti-hunting piece, that just did not sit well with me. I couldn't sit idly by and let that happen. And that's when the story of Sporting Lead Free starts. When I wanted to throw my hat back in the ring, I wanted to do it the right way, the Wyoming way, and really talk about this issue in a positive light, because hunters are the solution. We are a community of conservationists, and really highlighting that aspect of the conversation is most important for me. And so about 4.5 years ago is really when I started down this journey to use the science as a communication tool and to take it to the next level. It's not just about collecting data. I'll just say this. One of the best quotes I've ever heard was asked to me about my work is, are you just witnessing change or are you affecting change? And that really stuck with me, and I think Sporting Lead Free is the prime example of how we're using science and data, particularly in our great state of Wyoming, to really affect change in a positive way. And you all at Muley Fanatic Foundation and other partners, we have been awesome at helping to promote this and spread the word. And so really, that's what it's about. It's about community, and it's about all of us just doing the right thing.
The one thing that has always, I think, been something that anybody can gravitate to if you just try to have an introductory conversation about Sporting Lead Free is that this is an effort to promote an unbiased, non-legislative mandate, non-political message about the benefits of using lead-free sporting options and the tie to our hunting heritage. We've seen these mandates in other places. That's not something that carries a lot of momentum or just overall support when you start talking about how this could be done like it is elsewhere. Your approach, I think, has been spot on. It's really put the right information in front of people and let them make an educated decision. So when you go back to that quote, are you witnessing change or are you affecting change? Man, to know that was the driver to be able to get you to where you're at with this, I think is absolutely remarkable. So thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, and I'm really excited. And I think, as you say, the message that we promote, this positivity, this using lead-free as an option, not a mandate, really resonates with people. And that's where we're gaining more focus. And that's the point of this film. The Wild Hope series reached out to us to highlight the successes that we've had, because this is going nationally. This is going internationally now, way faster than we ever would have anticipated. And I love it. I love that people are getting behind it, that want to be a part of supporting lead-free community and spreading the message. And really, that's what this is about. And I think the video did such a good job in such a concise amount of time to really capture this complex issue in a way that really highlights the positivity of it.
Yeah, I thought the video was absolutely incredible. Again, we're going to promote this. I want folks to make it a priority. It's just a little under 13 minutes. You will walk away learning something from this video. The footage on the video is amazing. A couple of things that stood out to me, and I think it's when your program director, Hannah Leonard, was talking about the 20 milligram specimen of lead that she was able to show on the video and how that is all it takes to have a detrimental impact and a poison to the eagles that you have captured. But then I think also the map of just what that flyway looks like for those eagles from, down south all the way up into Alaska. I think the visuals within the video, and so that's what I really want to be able to talk about. Certainly sharing the link, people will watch the video, but let's talk about the video, the efforts to put the video together, because obviously to put a 13-minute video like this together to the quality of what this video presentation was and is, there was a lot of behind-the-scenes work on this. So did you build the storyboard on this, or how did this come to be?
So I have the good fortune of being able to work with these magnificent eagles, golden eagles, on a nearly daily basis for our research and our studies. So it affords us the possibility to capture a lot of awesome imagery, but then also to really know the science about what's going on and what's happening. And to didn't put the storyboard together, I was approached because we have golden eagle work ongoing. It makes for amazing footage that you and other folks will be able to see in the video. And it was more of, hey, we hear you guys are doing good work. We want to highlight the successes of it. And the producers at Wild Hope put that storyline together. We provided them with a lot of that imagery and content at the time and helped them kind of work through some of those pieces. But I got to give solid kudos to those folks and those producers, because when you do these films, and I'm sure, Josh, you've probably done some yourself, you never really know how they're going to turn out. And so I was really overjoyed at the quality of this one.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure that created some reservation on your part, but yeah, you're right. The final product, it's first class. It's something that could be shared. I could see this being shared in many different capacities, from hunter education courses to just schools in general and science classes. The educational piece, again, it fits perfectly with the message of Sporting Lead Free as a non-political educational initiative. I think the video just is full of great footage, great information, and it's something that we're going to be very proud to be able to share and support. What kind of traction are you seeing with the video already?
Already, I think we're seeing quite a bit. I think there's been a solid media push for the rollout this week that will continue for the next couple of weeks on social media. And the beauty is it hits many different communities. The film industry is really interested in the quality of it. The conservation industry is really interested in the messaging. I think they did a great job highlighting the hunting aspect that Hannah and I wanted to bring to the table as well. And so I think from that standpoint, I love that it brings a lot of different groups together to learn about this issue, because really it affects us all. When we're talking about wildlife issues, sure, absolutely hunters and anglers are the solution to this, but everybody's interested in it, and everybody's interested in the conservation of eagles and other wildlife, I hope.
Yeah, I would think so. It's the ecosystem. It's a full circle thing. And if you're not mindful of that, then maybe you need to at least give some consideration to exploring and being open to more information. Again, this is a voluntary choice to use lead-free ammunition and tackle. And hunters and anglers, this is on our watch. As conservationists, this is where we truly can put conservation action in to an action item that we can each individually be accountable to. Are you seeing a good reception with the message of sporting lead-free? I know in the last few years it has certainly gained more prominent placement within the conversation of the hunting community. But what does that growth look like, and where do you continue to take it from where it's at now?
I love that question, Josh. The growth of sporting lead-free has been something that has astounded me. I think it's not without reason. We put a lot of thought and effort into the messaging, where we stand, how we partner with people in positive ways. And so I think that is starting to come out in the successes that we're seeing. When we started, I like to say our kind of 5-year plan was if we could get some support from the Wyoming Game and Fish Department, I would have said that was a huge success. And within a year and a half, we had that support from the commission, from Director Nesvik, and that has really, I want to just put kudos where it's due. Muley Fanatic Foundation, you guys were some of our first partners. The Game and Fish shortly got on thereafter, and that led a lot of credibility to our messaging, which has really springboarded us at a national scale. We thought we were going to really focus in as a Wyoming-based initiative, but because the internet's so flat and everybody is really buying into and getting on board with our non-legislative and non-mandate messaging, that we're getting a lot of interest from a lot of different state agencies, a lot of different organizations across the country. And what our goal is now is to empower our ambassadors, our members, our partners to have that message to help spread it within their communities, because I think that's the solution to this. We all get information about hunting and angling from our friends and our communities, and we want to empower everybody to have this positive messaging, to have the right language, to have the right tools, to be able to have those conversations. And so that's our focus now, is really empowering the sporting lead-free community. So for those of you listening that haven't checked us out, please do. We've got a membership and we've got ambassadors across the nation, and we're always looking to get more folks on board that are excited about this and excited about sharing this message within our community, because we as hunters, we don't need any more black eyes. And I think this is an amazing way for us to showcase our conservation, our hunting heritage, our positivity, and how hunting is conservation and how we can really make a difference.
Looking at the website is certainly probably the best portal for someone to go to. There's a great amount of information there, but you mentioned membership, and there are some various levels of membership within Sporting Lead Free. sportingleadfree.org. Again, sportingleadfree.org. There's a membership tab. You can find what membership suits you best. 3 different options: the trout membership, the grouse membership, and the elk membership, each with different increments of cost associated with where you would like to land your membership. But I think the one thing that just continues to resonate for me as a big game hunter and as someone who is in the conservation community that has a lot of outreach with a lot of folks that gravitate towards big game hunting is this. Again, do not get confused in the messaging that this is just about saving eagles and ravens and raptors and the condors. There is more benefits to this, and we seen firsthand when you and Hannah were able to come to Green River and we went to the range. But the advantages to lead free, you really need to look into this. Less meat loss, 90 to 99% weight retention of the bullet, lighter, faster, flatter flying bullets. Bryan, have you seen, since you've been involved with this effort, the reception from the ammunition industry really take hold and gravitate towards this messaging? And I would assume that you've been pleasantly surprised and even pleased with the advancements of where these individual manufacturers and distribution centers are really putting a focus on lead-free ammunition.
I think you just hammered it on the head, and I'm pleased is an understatement. I think the advancement of our projectiles for big game hunting has just skyrocketed in the past 5-10 years. There's more and more lead-free manufacturers on the market. We have the pleasure of working with several manufacturers and just having a lot of conversations around the advancement of this tool. And I hear a lot of times when I'm at Hunt Expo or some other events of folks that have tried lead-free ammo 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and it wasn't great. And I say, absolutely, it wasn't great. Just like cell phone technology 10 years ago is not what it is today. Like, technology is changing, and the industry is seeing it, and the industry is embracing it, and the availability is going up, the price is going down, and there's a ton of options out there that are becoming more and more readily available. It's to the point where I could go to Sportsman's Warehouse and buy lead-free ammo cheaper than some regular lead ammunition that I normally would have considered for hunting. So it's awesome. I think we have a long way to go for upland, but we're getting there. And I think these conversations are helping move that needle. And yeah, I'd say if you tried it a long time ago and didn't have success with it, there's huge advances in that technology today that make it worth a try. The other, just briefly, those benefits that you mentioned of, not only does it highlights our conservation background and heritage as hunters when we switch to this. And this isn't an anti-lead thing, like use the lead at the range. That's fine. There's no ecosystem level effects there. I guess the one other piece I would add to that is I've scanned over 5,000 pounds of processed game meat myself, and about 10 to 20% of that ground will have some lead fragments in it. And I don't want to make it an alarmist kind of thing. No one's going to go to the hospital. A lot of us hunt for the clean meat and the protein, the best protein we could possibly get. And this is just one more avenue to make sure that we're harvesting the best and eating the best, cleanest meat that we possibly can.
Yeah, I think that's an important message, and certainly lead and just the impacts to human health, particularly with children. That's scientific, that's well documented, that's beyond this conversation. But at the end of the day, yes, be aware of what you're putting into your body, and as a parent, that's your responsibility. And when you look at not only just young children, but just the impacts that lead and the exposure to lead can have, it's certainly worth being noted, and it's worth you doing your homework and information. And again, this is a voluntary choice. When you look at this information, you will come to the conclusion that this just makes sense. This makes total sense. And you're right. The advancements from what it was 10 years ago has really been the game changer in this. It has caught up to where the consistency, the reliability, and the performance of what you can buy with copper ammunition today it's a game changer.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and I think, again, you get this, Josh. It's about information. We don't want to make anyone's choice for them. We just want to make sure everybody's got the information that is accurate, that is scientifically proven. And I invite everybody to go to the sportingleadfree.org website, because we have got a wealth of information there, from just the easily digestible pieces that are summarized to diving into all the published science on it, both from big game hunting, upland, angling. You'll find so many resources there, some videos, a lot of content. And if you don't, and if you still have questions, reach out. You mentioned Hannah, our program director, myself. We're always available and love to chat about this stuff. So if there's further information that you don't see there that you've got questions about, I invite you to reach out. Absolutely. That's what it's all about, is helping folks make informed choices for themselves.
Yeah, said Bryan. I appreciate that greatly, particularly to the film and specific to the film. What was, when you first previewed the film and its final product, what was the wow moment within the film that you just thought was nailed at exactly how you hoped the message would be conveyed?
The whole thing. How that team really distilled the conversation and highlighted the fact that this is about hunting. Hannah and I are big hunters, but also I'm a raptor scientist. How they were able to capture all of that in 12 plus minutes just astounded me. Usually it's easy to get caught in the weeds and the nuance of all the different aspects of this conversation, but I think they really crushed it. And I was really happy with how they portrayed our science, how they portrayed us catching the birds and the kind of the reason why, but then also the reason on the how and on the why to switch and why to be part of the sporting lead-free community. And yeah, I think a lot of folks just that I've worked with in the past want to focus on the eagles, or they want to focus just on the hunting or the outreach piece. And this film really captures the whole journey of my journey as a scientist into the founder of Sporting Lead Free and outreach and communication, and then also the team and the community. Yeah, I'm always nervous when I watch or listen to media that's being done, but I think these guys did a great job.
I was extremely impressed with the video, the quality of the video, and the message of the video. I know in conversations that I've had individually with folks in trying to broach this topic, that there does seem to be just this mindset from just conditioning of what they have known to be a lead bullet and a copper bullet, that there's some significant differences. And at one time, I think that probably was a fair testament to where the industry was. But when you look at as you indicate on your website, a 180 grain lead bullet and a 165 grain copper bullet, those extra grains when switching from lead to copper, the benefit is the retention within the copper and the original weight, which translates to more weight and more kinetic energy, downrange, more impact. And that, I think those messages within the video, if you're a big game hunter and you're looking at this topic from a podcast like this as an introduction to something you may not have a lot of information on, I think you'll find the application for how it can be used within your tools of what you do to be in the outdoors and to have a successful harvest, and know that what you're doing ultimately has so many more impacts beyond just your take of the resource, but all the things from the care in the field to putting it on the dinner table at home and why it makes sense. I think all the dots were connected with the film. I'm excited to be able to showcase and to share the link on this film, and look forward to folks reaching out, giving us feedback. As you said, Bryan, you want to hear the feedback. We want to hear it too. This is a community effort. And as a hunting community, we're all in this together. So, Bryan, job well done. Kudos, my friend.
Josh, I really appreciate that. Appreciate you helping us spread the word. You guys have always been amazing partners. And like you say, it's about conservation, it's about hunting, and the community that we have. And happy to help showcase that. And really appreciate you having us on today.
All right, you bet. Again, Dr. Bryan Bedrosian from Sporting Lead Free, our guest today. Check out the link. It's clear and it's prominent within the link to the email that you got this on. And if you're just listening from whatever podcast service you use, Apple or Spotify, whatever it may be, reach out and do a little digging. Find this link. Again, the video, Wild Hope. It's a fascinating visual in all accounts. It was well done. And I think you'll find the information, again, to be nothing short of significant. And if anything, it'll promote you to want to have a conversation with someone else and share it. So that's the challenge. Bryan, thank you again. Wild things in wild places. Till next time, happy trails.
And that wraps up another episode of Wild Things and Wild Places. But remember, the journey doesn't end here. Make sure you never miss out by subscribing. Whether you're listening to us on your favorite podcast platform, streaming us on our website, or following us on social media, subscribing is the best way to stay connected. Thank you for joining us, and stay tuned for more wild episodes.
Everybody knows I'm a muley fanatic.